Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Hasu and Jimpo, this time on Lost Temple. Hasu spawning as the blue Protoss player on the south side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Jimpo spawning on the north side of the map as the red Terran. So this is once again Terran versus Protoss here on Lost Temple. And now with this cross spawn, this means that both sides will be able to do a lot of teching and perhaps make this game extend out a little bit longer. Hasu down over here, I'm assuming that he's going to be opening up with a 9 pylon followed by most likely a 13 gateway, and then the strategies will start to change whether or not he goes for an early assimilator. Back over here in the base of Jimpo, Jimpo currently just mining pretty freely, not all too concerned about anything here as he sets up a standard 10 supply depot, deciding not to try to wall it off, enabling him to be able to continue to mine and get this SCV back to mining very quickly. We now see the probe making its way out, trying to do as much scouting as possible very early on. One of the benefits of the Protoss is they do not need their worker next to their building continually in order to build that building, so that's why the Protoss player is able to do some earlier scouting. Back in the base over here, we see Jimpo now setting up a 12 barracks right now, setting up a 12 barracks here, and I like the positioning on these buildings. This means that if any zealots try to walk into this location, and the Marines in this location right here will be able to fend off an attack for at least a decent amount of time. We also see a 13 refinery now coming in from Jimpo, so it looks like pretty standard play coming in from Jimpo so far. Back over here, Hasu has not gotten gotten the assimilator once again, and it looks like it will be that standard gateway into Cybernetics core into that robotics bay in order for that early observer. We now see one probe just trying to wander around on the inside here, taking a little bit of points of damage as Jimpo finishes this refinery and will be able to get that all-important gas in order to tech up into higher tier units. This one probe still needs to be chased around by Jimpo. If you ever see a probe in your base, you need to make sure that you follow it, especially as a Terran player. Zerg players, you have overlords that can be spaced throughout your base in order to gain sight on some of those dark areas and making sure that there is not a proxy pylon. However, as a Terran player, you need to keep track of it just in case he does place a proxy pylon in your fog of war. One interesting play by Hasu, he did place a pylon back over here, and now I'm not 100% sure if this pylon is here for hidden tech or if it's here to try to detect any drops, probably a little bit of both. And now we see a pocket or a proxy factory over here. Now Jimpo setting up a proxy factory. That will be a very interesting build indeed, as he now goes for another refinery. So with a proxy factory like this and trying to get another refinery, I'm thinking that he's trying to go for fast stores. So if he's able to get a fast store and then the store is able to come out and engage very quickly, he will be able to deal a lot of damage, especially since that Thor is able to walk through that early force fields that a lot of Protoss players really feel safe behind. We'll see if that comes into play as one stalker now makes its way out into this position here. Now I'm curious about the positioning on this one factory. If it is going for a Thor, I would assume that he would rather place it here. It does make the spawning location a little bit faster for the Thor in order to get into here, and that stalker will not be able to get sight onto this factory if it is right over here. So now out moves one stalker, and let's take a look. Yeah, that a factory right here would have been perfect, as it would not have been spotted by this Naga watchtower either. We now see 2 Marines being trained and now a reactor here, and I'm assuming that Hasu has to know that something's up. He did not see a factory in the base, and now with this armory being built over here and most likely a tech lab now being added on right here, this will be a very strong aggressive push coming in from Jimpo. One probe trying to walk up this ramp, however, as soon as it gets within range will get shot. There we go. And Jimpo with that bunkered Marine able to shoot down that probe before it gets in the position. And now, Hasu opening up into a fast expansion at about the 5-minute, what I'll call the 5-minute mark. So this is going to be a very bad day indeed, as Hasu will not have the economy and enough units to deal with this store. So the store rush, this proxy Thor rush, will be able to deal a lot of damage. This robotics facility now getting online and will be able to start flying into that direction in order to get some observers and perhaps see what exactly Jimpo is doing. So Jimpo doing a little bit more of an all-in tactic. Will it be enough as more Marines continue to be trained? One Thor currently in play. We should probably see some SCVs also being pulled off the mineral line as well. You can see that Jimpo is not continuing to train any additional SCVs, sitting on 21 SCVs at this time. Also getting the the 250mm strike cannon. So as that strike cannon is being researched, it will take a little bit of additional time, but the strike cannon will be able to deal with any early immortals, which is the one unit that can perhaps stop a Thor at this point in the game. We now see a group of Marines making their way out, and this is going to be a very, very bad sign. Stalkers trying to gain sight. I do not know. No, he did not see that army of SCVs coming in as well. So Marines now making their way. One Thor with a very, very slow movement speed now walking out as well. And now, does this Stalker know where that Thor in fact came from? So we now see Stalkers trying to come in as well. Stalkers with that range of 6 will not be able to really deal any damage. SCVs taking some damage as well. However, all of those SCVs are currently on auto repair, continuing to fight, doing a great job. SCVs able to just blast away, deal more and more damage, and perhaps now just going to simply walk up this ramp. 250mm strike cannon is nearing completion, in addition to a second Thor joining in on this fight, trying to take down the robotics facility. That robotics facility, however, will get completed, and this Thor needs to try to stun it as quickly as possible. Now trying to go after some of those units. Will it start to repair? Yeah, repairing that one Thor, and now stunning that immortal. That immortal now taken down, and Hasu in a little bit of trouble here, as there are so many SCVs constantly trying to repair this one location here. And now a second Thor joining in on this fight. We still have 6 SCVs repairing. Probes trying to join in on this fight. However, I believe Jimpo will be able to take this game, as these 2 Thors simply walk into this location, and Mouz Hasu says game. So a very, very nice proxy factory rush by Jimpo. Jimpo opening up with this factory over here at this Hayu mineral location, and also pretty much enforcing this bunker here, making it very difficult for Hasu to get an observer into the base and figure out what exactly in Jimpo's strategy was. Also, the research on that 250mm strike cannon was absolutely critical, enabling this one Thor to stun this immortal the instant it came out. And then as that immortal is stunned, it is unable to fire back, definition of stun. And also the 250mm strike cannon does deal enough damage, even with the hardened shields of an immortal, to take it down. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed Game 2 in what I assume to be a best of 3 matchup between Hasu and Jimpo, both sides taking 1 game apiece. Stay tuned for Game 3.